What's up, guys? Thanks so much for watching. If you're interested in a little bit more detail, a little bit more behind the scenes footage of this project, stick around for this next bit where I'm going to be talking about what I did, what went wrong, and maybe a little bit of a meltdown. If you like witnessing other people have meltdowns, this is for you. I got this dresser at our local thrift store. I don't typically find furniture, or at least good furniture, at thrift stores nearby, but this piece really stood out to me. I could not find a maker on it. Please let me know in the comments if you can figure out who the heck made this. I have found similar ones online, but I can find no markings. I don't know if this was just handcrafted and I'm the lucky one that got it, but it's super cool. I like the way that the legs curve. I like how tall it is. It's just a very unique piece, as well as the handles. So I was very excited to refreshen it and make it look more new again. Plus it was half off, so it was really only $7, and that is a huge win for me. Because I don't know if you've noticed, but mid-century furniture, the prices have gotten insane. I used to be able to find dressers for like $50, and even that was on the high end. Like mid-century dressers a couple of years ago, maybe like 4 years ago at this point. But now, oh my gosh, you can find a really beat up mid-century piece for $1,500. And I just, you know, I would spend that if it was refinished, but unfinished, I don't know. I don't know. It just depends. It has to be something like I really, really want and can't afford. Not everyone can afford $1,500 furniture. When I was finally ready to work on this, it was, I think the weather app said feels like -8. So that is why I was dressed up in all my get up gear and tried to be as prepared as possible, because sometimes it's just better to be outside. I don't have a workshop. My husband's office, when he's not working, is my workshop. And I have to do my best to clean it up after, put everything back, and then he can work again. Eventually I did take everything inside though. It was just too dang cold. And as beautiful as it was, I wasn't about it. So yeah, I was really thinking the stripping process of this nightstand was going to be like so quick ever since I discovered acetone. And I don't know if it was the cold or just not giving it enough time. It just wasn't working. Like it was, but not near. I could tell at the rate that it was working, it would have taken me absolutely forever, which in retrospect, it also took me a long time to scrape and sand. So maybe I should just stuck it out with acetone. In the previous time I've used acetone, all I really had to do was slap it on, agitate it a little bit, and then wipe it off. And it was like magic. It didn't seem to be like magic with this piece. So I don't know, I'm gonna Google it. It was like 16 degrees out, so maybe that had to play with it and it just needed more time to adhere, or maybe it was the type of finish that was used to originally do this piece. I don't know. After I scraped the finish off, I sanded the base with 120, then 220, and then 320. However, and I'll get into it in a second, that might have been part of my meltdown. When I brought it inside, I decided since acetone wasn't working and scraping was also taking a long time and the finish on the top looked pretty thick, I just chemically stripped. And that worked pretty good. It was pretty straightforward. I stripped the top and the sides. The front parts were not walnut or whatever kind of wood this is. It looks like a walnut to me. But the side areas were not real wood. And then when I stripped them and stained them, they looked lighter. So what I did was I just used my Mohawk powder stains to come up with some sort of pigmented lacquer that I could paint over the sides just to kind of match it a little bit better. I started off pretty light and then I darkened it a little bit and eventually it looked pretty cohesive. The original finish was a little bit lighter, but I like a deeper, more red tone to a mid-century piece. That's just a personal preference of mine, so that's what I went with. Moving back to the base. When I sanded it, it looked like I sanded it really well. I didn't see many scrapes. There was some that were already there to begin with that I tried to sand out as much as I could. Clearly, I did not do that good of a job. And you could see every scrape and scratch, and it just was like embarrassing. It was the kind of wood that you couldn't tell how poorly you were sanding until you apply stain and everything darkens and you see like everything. And I mean everything. I tried to apply the color toned lacquer and it was like going over it, but it just, the more I applied, the more that it was like you either paint it or you either strip it, sand it again, and do a better job at sanding. And I don't like painting. I just don't think it looks as well. It's just my personal preference, especially with mid-century furniture, and especially if I can put in the effort to restoring the actual wood. I know this wood isn't pure walnut and it's not like the prettiest wood. I could have painted it like a lighter brown color and it really would have looked fine, but I don't like painting. I'm not a fan of painting. I like stripping, staining, and sealing. It's my thing. Cue the meltdown. I just was 99% done. All I needed to do was seal it, and I wanted to get it done by a certain timeline. And when you put timelines on something and you have to backtrack, it is nerve-wracking. I don't like it. It's not fun, and I don't always handle that well. And my husband knows it. So I knew what I needed to do was strip it. I knew that in my core. I needed to strip it again, start over, and sand, and it would look better. I just couldn't sell it in the condition that it was in. All I could see was the scratches, so I needed to restart. But was I happy about doing that? No, I was not happy about doing that at all. So I pressed record. I was about to start stripping. That sounds so bad. I pressed record. Oh gosh. I pressed record and I was about to restart everything and my husband was like, we need to pray. And my response was, I mean, you'll see. Here, I'll just share it.
Let's just pray real quick.
Okay.
Thank you, Jesus. It sets the tension. Thank you, Jesus. This is okay. We have peace in all things, Lord.
I wasn't looking to record such an intimate moment, but I'm really glad I did because it just shows how amazing my husband can be in the moments where I am the ugliest I can be. And he helps me, encourage me to not be so overtaken by setbacks. That is a actual goal of mine, is to have peace in the setbacks. It's not fun. It's not fun to be set back, but it's also not fun to not be in peace. So I just think that I want to be someone who can make a mistake, have to backtrack, and just say it's going to be okay. I have to do it. It's not fun, but I can have joy in the process, and I know that this is going to turn out better than before. So I stripped the base again and sanded my little butt off. I sanded for 4 hours on just a base. So don't let this stuff fool you. This is not a quick part. This stuff is not quick. And cue me before saying the exact words I need to hear right now, is that fixing your mistake takes time, and to be patient. Sometimes it's not a quick fix. Most of the time, it's not a quick fix. Yeah, so this was not a quick fix at all, but it gets done when it gets done. So I sanded it for 4 hours. Again, tried to make sure I scrubbed out anything that would expose a scratch, and just tried to do the best I could. I stained it a little bit lighter and then added a little more of a red tone to it, and it looked much better. It did not look perfect, but I rewinded my previous before picture footage, and that also had scratches on it, or scratches underneath the finish. So clearly this is the kind of wood that is very easy to tell any scratches or any nicks or any kind of scuffing at all. So I decided I'm not going to restrip it. It's good. It looks beautiful, and no piece is going to be perfect. Cue me. Cue me. No project's going to be perfect. There's always going to be something I could have done better. Speaking of things not being perfect, the perfectionist in me wanted to completely delete this video because I had 1/3 of the footage without any sound. When I realized that and I started editing, everything in me wanted to melt down again. But I learned from my husband that it's not worth freaking out about, and I felt a peace about it. I was like, you know what, mistakes happen. I'm not gonna delete and get rid of all this hard work just because I didn't turn the microphone on. But it is interesting, ever since starting YouTube, there's been many times where I've made like the smallest mistake of just not being used to the process of filming and editing that cost me like a lot of time and quality of footage. I'm not someone who prefers music or voiceovers or anything on top of a video. I do think people do that well. That's just not my thing and not something I wanted to do. So putting on a nature sound loop was my second best, but not ideal scenario. These are things you learn. Turn the microphone on. Is my microphone on? Yes, it's on. Yeah, it's working. Oh my gosh, could you imagine? Oh my gosh. It seems like as soon as I started YouTube, things got 10 times harder. And not because of the social pressure of it, but just like the technicality of it, like the filming and the editing, and all of a sudden I have these pieces that have all these setbacks that I'm not used to. I feel like I used to be able to just have such quick, easy flips. And I know that the timing in it is only going to help me learn and be better in the long run. So I'm not gonna give up, and I really do enjoy this. I know it's gonna be good. I feel peace about it, and it's gonna be a fun time. That's one of the reasons why I'm only posting 3 times a month, because realistically there is going to be setbacks. I have 3 little boys at home. I homeschool. I have cooking and cleaning and family time. Every 10 days to finish a project is the absolute minimum I'm going to give myself. And so far, so good. I'm able to stick to that even with the setbacks, even with taking some time to be with friends and family. I'm not going to slave away. There's so many people who create content who have just very unsustainable upload patterns, and I don't want that. I want to enjoy my time and not regret doing this. So it just reminds me to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for watching. Thank you for subscribing. I know it's no small thing, but for you to watch a video especially at a length like this, you are obviously interested and care, and I really appreciate that. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I will be posting 3 times a month, as well as some shorts and reels along the way, and I'll see you next time.